All right, let's just dive right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are tackling a topic that carries immense operational weight and honestly, a profound sense of honor. We're talking about contingency mortuary operations. Specifically, we're going to master the precise, absolutely zero error environment of the Mortuary Affairs Collection Point, or MAPE. I am super passionate about this subject because getting these exact procedures right is how we fulfill our most solemn promise to never leave a fallen service member behind. The accountability here has to be absolute. So today, we're going to break down the exact workflow and give you a step-by-step look at the essential forms that make this whole mission possible. Here is our flight plan for today. First, we'll cover the MACP mission, then recovery and initial forms, login and personal effects, preparation and evacuation, and finally, temporary interment procedures.
Okay, Section 1, the MACP mission. Let's look at the big picture and understand exactly where we fit into the overall mortuary affairs flow.
Think of this timeline as a topographical map of our operation. An incident occurs and remains are recovered. They move to a casualty collection point, or CCP, where medical triage and the actual declaration of death happen. From there, they flow right into our area of operations, the MACCP. We process them, evacuate them to a theater mortuary evacuation point, and from there, they get airlifted back to the port mortuary at Dover Air Force Base for final identification and disposition. So, let's zoom in on our specific node, the MACP. Our literal definition, our whole purpose, is to receive, process, and evacuate remains and their personal effects as fast as humanly possible. The absolute mantra you need to remember here is bag, tag, in case, ice, and ship. Keep in mind, this facility takes a minimum of 2 mortuary personnel to run, and it must be completely physically separated from living areas, 0 public view. Moving to Section 2, recovery and initial forms. The clock on our operation starts the second a casualty is recovered and moved toward us for processing. Now, as remains transition from the CCP, 3 specific forms create the absolute bedrock of the individual's case file. And yes, a case file is mandatory for every single set of remains. You've got your DD Form 567, the record of search and recovery. That's where you lock in exact grid coordinates and incident details. Then there's the DD Form 565, the statement of recognition. If a unit member can tentatively identify them, you need them to physically sign this designated block. Both of these forms travel with the remains straight into our custody at the MACP. But here's the really vital one initially, the DD Form 2064, the Certificate of Death. A competent medical authority has to legally declare death, usually back at the CCP, and they will actually write the word draft across the top in huge letters. Your job as a MACP operator? Check that the medical authority actually signed it. Put it in a plastic pouch and get it securely inside the human remains pouch, or HRP. All right, Section 3, logging and personal effects. Once they are inside the facility, rigorous, airtight accountability takes over. Right off the bat, you fire up the DD Form 1077. This is your daily log. You are making a fresh one each and every day. Think of it as the master ledger for every single individual who enters your facility. First step, generate and record a unique evacuation number. Then input the date received and carefully write down the BTB, or believed to be name and social security number. And absolutely make sure the physical number of remains you're looking at matches exactly what is recorded on this ledger. Next up is the DD Form 1076. Look, this isn't just administrative paperwork. This is your personal guarantee that a fallen airman's wedding ring or family photos actually make it home. When you fill this out, you methodically list every single item objectively. Don't write gold diamond ring, write yellow metal ring with clear stone. And stick to the hard rules here. Leave their clothing and gear, like helmets and vests, on the remains. It's crucial for forensic investigation later. Do not wash the remains. And if they arrived with weapons or ammo, secure those completely separately and contact their unit to retrieve them. They do not ship with the remains. To keep everything perfectly tracked and prevent any catastrophic identification errors, we use a strict 2-tag system. Step 1. On the front of the tag, put that BTB info, last name, first name, middle initial, and SSN. Step 2. On the back, write the evacuation number, your MACP unit info, and the exact seal number used to lock the pouch. Step 3. Attach one tag directly to the remains and the second identically matched tag to the outside of the pouch. Unbroken chain of custody, right there. Section 4. Preparation and evacuation. With the case file solidly established, we pivot to physically prepping the remains for their journey home.
60 to 90. That is the total weight in pounds of crushed, wet ice you need for every single transfer case. It is completely non-negotiable for preserving remains, especially in hot environments. You're going to divide that up into about 9 individual bags, maybe 8 to 10 pounds each, and you always double or triple bag them to catch the water as it melts. And a quick heads up, dry ice is strictly prohibited. Don't even think about it. This strict icing protocol from the Armed Forces Medical Examiner exists for a very specific reason. Step 1. Line the bottom of the empty transfer case with 7 of those ice bags, from head to foot. Step 2. Position the sealed human remains pouch directly on top of that layer. Step 3. Place 1 bag over the chest cavity and the final bag over the groin region. Why do we do it exactly like this? Because it strategically preserves vital organs for forensic analysis. Notice, we literally never place ice directly on the skin and never inside the pouch itself. Okay, the transfer case is iced and sealed, which brings us to the handover. Custody is transferred using the DD Form 1075, the convoy list of remains. You need to write down the current seal number, verify the evac number, and carry over all that BTB info. Make at least 2 copies. And the absolute most crucial part here, the aircraft commander or the vehicle driver must physically sign this form. That is them legally taking custody. Moving these cases is handled with profound reverence, but it's also dictated by strict aircraft physics. You always carry remains feet first. When loading an aircraft, load them feet first, then rotate them once inside so the head faces the nose of the plane. The reason? It makes sure the massive acceleration forces during takeoff are pushed onto the feet, completely avoiding damage to the head. Transfer cases must always be stowed level, and the feet can never be higher than the head. Finally, Section 5, Temporary Internment Procedures. We need to shift our focus to the absolute most extreme contingency scenarios you might face out there. So what happens when evacuation is tactically impossible? I'm talking about overwhelming mass casualties, being totally cut off by intense hostilities, or severe chemical contamination where remains just can't be safely decontaminated. Standard evac is totally out the window. We can't freeze remains, so we have to use a completely different, authorized protocol to protect public health and preserve the remains. This is where our paperwork diverges in a big way. The DD 1075 is for standard evac, getting a service member home immediately. But when that fails, the DD Form 1079 is our failsafe. It's the interment and disinterment register. If we are forced to conduct a temporary, dignified battlefield burial, this form becomes the absolute most critical document we possess. It is literally what guarantees we can find and recover our fallen when the hostilities cease. But let me be crystal clear. Temporary interment is an absolute last resort. As an MACP operator, you don't make this call. Even a base commander doesn't make this call. It is authorized only by the geographic combatant commander. Safety is paramount here, not speed. If it gets authorized, civil engineers will step in to help you build out the exact site dimensions. The trenches must be 70 feet long and 3.5 feet deep. You place a maximum of 10 remains per row, laid head to foot, and you have to maintain at least 3 feet of distance between the rows. You'll assign a specific interment processing number to every single set of remains, log that on the DD 1079 and tag them. Finally, mark the site with stakes, get the exact GPS coordinates from the engineers, and log those coordinates in Block 4 of the 1079. That's what guarantees future disinterment. Finally, let's talk about how all this data ties together. From that very first DD 2064 draft death certificate to the final DD 1075 or DD 1079, everything gets synced globally into MARTS. That's the Mortuary Affairs Reporting and Tracking System. It's a web-based, CAC-enabled system that acts as the DoD's digital backbone for all fatality operations. The MACP module basically just mirrors the physical workflow we just walked through, letting you build the case file, track personal effects, and generate shipping manifests electronically. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to really reflect on. Mortuary affairs is heavy. We all know that. But mastering these forms, from the 2064 all the way to the 1079, isn't just some administrative exercise. It's how we ensure absolute, unbroken accountability. It's how we provide certainty and dignity to grieving families. So ask yourself, how will your mastery of this precision fulfill our most solemn promise to never leave a fallen service member behind? Thanks for tuning into this explainer. I hope this deep dive into the MAC app empowers you to execute this vital duty flawlessly.